Today is Wednesday, August 23rd. My name is Adam, joined by my good friend Logan.
Hello.
What up, man? How's your week been?
It's been a week.
That it has.
Not too much.
What have you been up to?
Oh, not a lot. Just kind of the same as everything. Nothing big happened. Nothing blotted out anything in the sky. It's been a good week.
Oh, yeah. So did you get a chance to stare at the sun?
No, I didn't have any glasses, so I actually listened to science and decided not to stick my head outside. I watched it get dark, though. That was fun enough.
That was cool. Oh, yeah. Well, I hear that the next one's going to stroll right through South Carolina.
Yeah, this one went through North Carolina. I was only 80 miles away from, the actual, what they call totality of it.
Totality, yeah.
So I got...
Such a fun word.
Yeah, so we got pretty much the whole thing here.
Oh, man, you should have got glasses. They weren't selling them at 7-Eleven or anything?
They were sold out. Before I even, really seriously considered it, they were sold out around here. I saw them. I had a delivery at Lowe's, a month or so ago or something like that. And I saw they had, the big display and everything. And I just kind of looked. And I'll never forget, I looked at it and I actually scoffed. Because I thought this was the dumbest thing. And then, turn around, a couple days ago, and I'm like, wow, I'm an idiot. I am a genuine moron.
Oh, man, yeah, you should have got it, man. My grandfather got a bunch, so he gave them out to us.
Oh, nice.
Last week, yeah. So I was working, so I scheduled my breaks and stuff around the time where it was supposed to look the best for Florida.
Yeah.
And it looked cool. It's hard to I didn't realize what it was going to look like with the glasses on, but it's complete darkness except for the sun.
Right.
The little sliver that we got to see because it wasn't fully the eclipse. But I don't know. I thought it was cool. It was neat. Everyone had fun with it. Science is important and it's awesome, and that kind of stuff is really cool. It's cool to see people excited about science, even if it's for a brief moment.
Right. Yeah, I'll take it. And this, it's things like this that spark imaginations. How many kids ran out and saw that and were like, that was really cool. I want to know more about that. And most of them, were like us with Jurassic Park. That was awesome, and we all wanted to be paleontologists for 2 months.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Some kid's going to look at that and go, I want to go on that moon. Yeah. I want to be on that moon, and maybe one day, hopefully, that happens again. The right people in office will definitely be able to do that. But that would be cool. I hope that some kid goes outside, sees the moon, and is like, you know what, I want to be up there, and I want to do that, and I want to, further humans along there. So I don't know. I thought that was cool.
Here's the movie you can make out of this. I want that kid who's in the honors classes. He's second grade, but he's already in, his teacher's already oh, this kid's going places. And he's like, I'm going to go to the moon and I'm going to colonize it and we're going to start life there and everything. And it's going to be awesome. And you have the kid at the total other end of the class who looks up at that and goes, I want to go to the sun. And you and you follow both of these kids. The one who wants to go to the moon is busting his ass and doesn't get to go. And the one who wants to go to the sun, stumbles into the volunteer program of, we need morons to send to walk on the sun. I'll go. I've wanted to go since I was a little kid. Okay, you can go. And, I want to see that as, a 20-minute short. Do that.
That would be funny. Oh, yeah. Yeah, man, this week's been fun. Just been spending it with family. I got back into Lost.
Oh, shit.
Decided to watch it again.
Oh, my God. My girl put that on our Netflix list last night, and I was like, I don't have time for this.
Oh, dude, it's so good.
But I mean,
Especially the first season. It is like poetry.
I mean,
Oh man,
this was like 2 a.m. though, so.
yeah, no. I went to some family house and they never seen Lost, and I was like, we gotta watch Lost.
Oh, here we go.
You guys gotta see a few episodes. And 3 episodes later, they're like, we gotta go to bed, but we wanna. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna leave, but now use my Netflix account, have fun. I love getting people into Lost. I'm sure somewhere down the line they might be like, wait, what's going on?
Right.
They might be a little lost, but for at least the first season is just so good.
Very true.
And it holds up.
Yeah, it does.
There's some little things that made me laugh, like when Hurley has a CD player, and I'm like, remember those? But I mean, other than that, I think the fact that they're on an island just really it makes it timeless. And it's only the flashbacks and whatnot that really get you like, oh yeah, okay, this time frame they were wearing clothes kind of like that. And it's weird to think how it was 2004. It was like over 10 years ago at this point.
Yeah.
And it was, I don't know, but that was fun. I've been playing Sonic Mania, which has been a blast. I think I talked about that last week.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, Sonic Mania has been fun, and I got StarCraft remastered.
Nice. You jump into that yet?
Oh my god. Yeah, so I've played the Warcraft series, 1, 2, whatever, parts of 3, and then I jumped into World of Warcraft, and I played all the way through the expansions. Never really played StarCraft. I think I played one game as a kid on one of those computers. We have a local shop here that I haven't been to in years, but it's called Sci-Fi City in Orlando. And they used to have like a bunch of computers for people who just couldn't afford a computer or were kids, and you could go there and pay by the hour. So that's what I did as a kid. And I would try all these different games that I could never play with, a PlayStation 1 or whatever. And StarCraft was one of them. And I love RTSs, which is a real-time strategy if you don't know, people listening, but I'm sure you have. And it's basically like a top-down view. You have barracks, you have whatever, you send out men, you create soldiers, you build a foundry, you build supplies. And the single player is normal. Fun, brisk pace, not that much stress. And when you play online, it is a completely different story. Oh man, have you ever played StarCraft before?
I've made the mistake of playing StarCraft online before. I can only liken it to my experience. StarCraft online for me was like Command and Conquer Tiberium Sun's campaign. It's insane.
Yeah. It is they got and I was playing with a buddy that I usually play PlayStation with in Destiny, and he was addicted to StarCraft, and he still is. And so we got the remastered. It's $12, and it's a really nice version of StarCraft.
Nice.
And I was like, okay, I'll dive in, I'll play with you. So we played where we did me and him versus computers, just to kind of so he can give me the understanding of how you play. Like you constantly create people to mine. It's so much micromanaging to like the nth degree, like an insane amount of micromanaging. And if you you're off by a few seconds, you're going to lose. And so we played where me, him, and a buddy, and then it was like 5 computers. And I my base got wiped out almost immediately, and I had to send a guy over to his, and I felt like such a just idiot. While their bases are thriving, they've amassed this huge army, and I'm here trying to get 10 soldiers.
Yeah, it's from the second you drop in, you've got to be ridiculously on the ball. I could never do the multiplayer side of it. I was never even remotely close to that fast. No way.
Yeah.
It's madness.
It really is. It really is. So I'm going to play through the campaign and have fun with that, and then play against the computer, because I like that. It's a little more relaxing. It's chill. But yeah, so I've been playing that, and just still a ton of Splatoon and a ton of PlayerUnknown's Battleground, which is just so much fun. Oh man, that game is like crack. I've gotten number 2, number 3. Didn't get chicken dinner this week, but same buddy that got that got StarCraft. He's getting PUBG today, so that's gonna be
Nice.
fun. Oh yeah. But other than that, did you grab one of the Super Nintendo's minis?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I'm gonna let them go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought about it, and then I looked at my rent and said, of the two, I think I'm gonna have to go with rent this month.
Yeah, no, that's a
And
smart move.
they went fast too. Like I didn't even see some of them were up for pre-orders until I saw like GameSpot had retweeted itself from earlier. Like was
Oh
my
wow.
favorite tweet was like they had tweeted, the pre-orders were available at bestbuy.com, and then how I knew about that was when I saw their retweet where they said not anymore.
It was like, I feel bad because I meant to message you and like three other people. It was like 2 a.m. I saw it, I put it on Facebook, and then I went right to sleep. And I woke up and I was like, damn it, I didn't like tell anyone else.
Yeah.
Felt like I dropped the ball because last time I did, I don't know why I didn't this time. So I got one. It's pending. It's there.
Right.
I'm still contemplating it. I don't know if I want one because you're right. It's $100 and or
Damn,
$80.
I was gonna say it was 80 for the Walmart pre-orders that they canceled. Did they raise it?
Right, it's $80, yeah, and I don't know. I have a Retro Pi, so it's it's kind of obsolete for me to have one. I don't know. I don't know.
Well,
I'm
but
contemplating it.
it's the novelty of the thing, really. Like
That's
I mean, anybody. This is for. I think these kind of things are for people who. It's an odd crowd because it's for us, but we already know how to emulate shit
right.
and like plug into a. We can run an HDMI out of our computer if we need to. Like we've
Right.
got the right adapters and all stuff. We know how to do that. So if we wanted to play that on a TV, we could, and in better resolution with all the little fun bells and whistles that we want it to have. But at the same time, it's kind of like there's just something kind of really cool about the idea of saying, hey, you know how awesome this thing was? Here's an updated-ish version.
Mm-hmm.
Just have fun with it. And I think it taps into a lot of how, and I was kind of one of them. You remember the old like 3-in-1 and 5-in-1 like plug and play stuff.
Right.
I mean, that's their way of saying, hey, you know what? These things actually sold a shit ton. They sold a ton of those things, man. They were at every drugstore ever.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah.
This is their way of doing that in a not you have to buy it through the virtual store kind of thing. It's
yeah.
And I've got to imagine it would be it's more expensive to do it this way because you actually have to produce the hardware. But I
imagine this is why we don't have a virtual store right now.
Yeah.
For the Switch.
Yeah.
Because I'll be honest, that's where I want to play these games. Right. I don't want to play on the big screen. I want to play on the Switch where I'm sitting on a couch.
Yeah, and there's the flip side of that where it's like, this is cool, but it's not really what I want. So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I think it's a neat thing. It's a decent price. It's a novelty. It's pure nostalgia. And
what do you think about the people flipping it that will get it and sell it for $300?
Yeah, that's capitalism.
I was thinking about it. I was like, well, it's there. It's in my basket or whatever it's purchased.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that you can totally do. I mean, and people are gonna pay it, and you're not. This isn't somebody buying a knockoff thing and trying to pass it off as something else. It's like, no, here's this thing. It's gonna sell out. People are gonna want it. Here's a way for me to make some money. This is
Nintendo's fault. It's definitely not mine.
No, they're like, hey, if they're not going to produce enough stock, it's going to drive up the price. I mean, look, that's business. It just is.
Yeah.
Some people look at it and say, well, they bought like 5 of them and now they're selling them for blah blah blah. Well, that's how that shit goes. Sorry.
Right.
Like it's kind of a dick thing to do, but also, it is. It's just business.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so, and I know you can only get one from these sites, so it's not like someone can run it up and get like 60 or something like that.
Right.
But we'll see. It's definitely something I'm going to contemplate because it would be cool to have a little, because that was my favorite system. And I mean, I would, yeah, it's hard to pass up because I know if I did, I would be kicking myself September, going, damn it, I could have had that sitting here.
Yeah.
But it's all good. It's all good.
And the lineup is really good. Like they picked a seriously all-star lineup for that. So there's.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
It's not like, oh, here are some of these games. Like I was hoping for like, what the hell was it? Was it Super Turbo FX?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, that would have been one to throw in there just to see, like, that would have been the, like, did people remember this kind of game? But
I was hoping they would do a Star Wars, the Super Star Wars, but I know because of the license that would be super hard.
That would have been I think that deal would have been too expensive.
Yeah, or Aladdin. Yeah, it would. Those are the ones that, man, because that's what I think of when I think of the Super Nintendo. Those games are so good.
Yeah.
Holy shit, yeah. They were just on a whole nother level. But there's some great ones in there. Like, I never played Super Metroid, so I'm going to run through that.
Ooh.
Yeah, stuff like, there's a lot in there that I just didn't really play or didn't play that much of.
Nice.
You know, I don't know. I can't wait for those games to hit the store as well, because, like, there's a ton of, man, there's just so many random Super Nintendo games that you don't think about, like the Ren and Stimpy games, like the Tiny Toon Adventures and the RoboCops and all of those crazy weird side scrollers I loved. I ate those things up. The X-Men, Batman, like it was just so much fun.
Yeah.
All the weird fighting games and I don't know. It'd be cool. We'll see. The next one's got to be what, the 64?
Yeah, but I don't really know if they're gonna do that or not. I think the Super Nintendo was good.
I mean, they're definitely doing it. They patented Nintendo a Nintendo 64 wireless controller thing in Europe. So Nintendo just recently did that. So
yeah, but I mean, look at everything else they've patented that never came to pass. Usually that's almost like copywriting domain names at certain points where you're just like, we're doing this so that nobody else does this kind of thing.
It's true, but it came right at the heels of right after they announced the Super S Mini whatever. It was like, it was very clear that was they need to get the patent for the controller for that territory.
True.
Yeah, I can't imagine it's not, I think there's 10 games, but the problem with the 64 is there wasn't that many games. But I think you could squeeze out 10 games. And I mean, they'd have to get 007.
I think you could squeeze out more than that. And I don't think you could get 007 because that was rare.
Yeah, but they made deals with, for the Nintendo. I mean, they got Final Fantasy and a bunch of other games on there. They do deal with third party.
That's true. But I mean,
and Rare did Donkey Kong as well, Country. So
yeah. That's true.
I mean, if you're going to do a mini Nintendo 64, 007 has to be on the list.
Oh,
you
yeah.
don't do it unless you have it.
Oh, no, absolutely right.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That and Perfect Dark got to be there. But we got to take a quick break. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Again, you're listening to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. We'll see you guys all in a minute. Welcome back to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. And before the break, we were talking about the mini Nintendo 64, Nintendo 64 Classic, and what games are there. Maybe one of these days we'll do a topic about what we would want our 64 game list to be for, like 20 games or something like that.
Yeah.
That would be interesting. The controller, man, that would be rough going back to that controller.
I'd love to go back to that controller. I miss it. I love that thing. I really did.
But do you think you love it, or do you think if you actually put that, have you ever played when was the last time you sat down and played GoldenEye? Because holy shit, it is not how I remembered it.
Yeah,
it's
okay.
Rough.
That's fair.
It was before we knew dual analog sticks and all that other stuff. So aiming was just it takes a lot of adjustments. So I'm curious how that's gonna work.
That's a fair point, because the C buttons were kind of the idea of a right analog stick.
Yeah.
In some aspects, in some games they worked completely differently. Fighting games, they were their own. They were the triggers basically. But I don't know. It's such a weird thing. Like, I think we would be okay with it, but you couldn't you couldn't hand that to somebody who had never used it before. Like I think it would make their brain short circuit.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. And that's what I mean. But now that you know better, it's like I think it's kind of like when I went back and played Kingdom Hearts, and I never played it before, and I got it for the PlayStation 3, and the controls I couldn't do it, but everyone who played it when it came out loved it. And when I touched it, I'm like, oh my god, this is terrible controls. This controls so bad, the way he jumps and clips, and
Yeah.
you want to jump left, and he just jumps up in the air. It's so different from modern games. So that's what I mean by that. Like, I'm curious how they would do that. I think it'd be awesome if, didn't they do like wasn't there like a new GoldenEye game that came out
Yeah, there was like it was like an HD plus kind of thing where it was like they basically remade it and then they added some extra stuff into it. Yeah, it was what, like 4 or 5 years ago? Maybe it was even a couple more. It was.
I would totally play a remastered 007 game for the Switch.
Yeah.
Like from the ground up, just totally remastered. Newer graphics. It doesn't have to be mind blowing, but that nostalgia of going through the ceiling and going into the facility and all that other stuff. Yeah. Multiplayer, that'd be a blast.
Yeah, let me look it up real quick because I know it was like GoldenEye Reloaded or something.
Yeah, man. But yeah, me and my friends every weekend we'd gather up, play that. There would have to be wrestling game in there. I don't know if they'd get the license. That's the thing. Like the WWF one. We always liked the WCW one as well. The Revenge or something like that.
Yeah, WCW. It was WCW NWO Revenge. Yeah.
Yeah, and it just had like so many pages of random wrestlers that you never really saw on television.
Yeah.
But besides like the first 3 rows or something like that. And yeah, man, I'm just trying to think. Yeah, you'd got to have Pokemon Snap on there, maybe Stadium. I'm sure. Yeah, of course Mario 64. And what was that jet ski game?
Wave Race.
Wave Race would have to be on there. Star Fox 64. Yeah, dude. That was a weird time for gaming, I think, for me, because that was when not everything looked as polished as the 2D plane of the Super Nintendo, where everything looked great. Where this went to the 3D and it was like, oh, okay, everything's very blocky now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Were you able to find it, the GoldenEye one?
Yeah, it was the same. It had the same name when it was a Wii game. That's how long ago that was.
Oh wow.
And then when they put it on 360 and PS3, they called it GoldenEye 007 Reloaded.
Oh, okay. Cool.
This was back in 2011.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it was even longer than I thought. The Wii game came out in 2010, and then Reloaded came out a year later. So.
Oh wow.
And it was eh. Like, part of it was like we were so heavy on nostalgia and everything, so it's like, oh yeah, without all of the fun, like, couch multiplayer and stuff, like, it still had it, I think, but that's just not really the world we live in anymore, kind of
right,
thing.
Yeah, you're sitting on your couch, and everyone else is sitting on theirs, or maybe you have one person over. Yeah, I remember that was a big surprise, my buddies getting a PlayStation 4, and they bought Battlefield 4, and I remember them sitting on the couch like, all right, you get one controller, I'll get another, and I was like, guys, I don't know if there's couch co-op, and they're like, no, of course there is. Why? It's a shooter. There's no couch co-op for that game. It's only online, and they were super bummed out. They're like, this doesn't make sense.
Yeah, but
it was good.
That's why I loved like the Castle Crushers. Was it Crushers or Crushers? I can't remember which file. And like Scott Pilgrim versus the World, where it was designed for couch co-op. Like they specifically did not have online because they wanted you to grab 3 friends and jump in, and it was awesome. And that you can totally do that. You can absolutely still do that. And I still think there's definitely a place for it.
I think the Nintendo Switch would be the perfect spot for those those Turtles in Time type games, like a new version of Turtles in Time, if you get what I'm saying.
Yes.
Where it's fun if you're playing single player it's in your hands and you're just playing through the levels and you're Donatello or whatever, X-Men or whatever, or you put it in the Switch, it's on the big screen TV and you're playing with 3 other people on the couch.
Right.
You have the nostalgia factor, you have the couch co-op. Those games would be awesome. I wish if like Nintendo next year was, I don't need the big, I don't need Call of Duty and all that other stuff on the Switch. If you just announce like 20 of those kind of games, where it's like, here, we're going to do a Turtles, we're going to do a Star Wars, we're going to do X-Men, they're going to be couch co-op, they're going to be where you can play with your friends and family, and yes, all fucking day, I'll buy that up. Right, and they make them $20. Like, that was the best thing about that new Sonic game that I will preach up and down. The game is $20, and it is so much fun. Doesn't need to be $60,
No, we need more budget price titles, and that's where you could have looked at something like Sonic and said, well, name recognition, we could charge more for it, and there's a business argument to be made there. But when you're looking at something and you're saying, look, what's the content? Oh, it's an old school type Sonic game. Okay, that's a lower price title, and $20 is a perfect price point for it. It's absolutely perfect, and that's where these kinds of games need to sit, because you're not talking about something like Splatoon on the level of gameplay or graphics. You're looking at simple, repetitive fun that goes back to old. Look, the kind of games that you want is something where you can get 5 people standing around at the same arcade cabinet playing. These are beat 'em ups. They're side-scrolling beat 'em ups, or dual shooters. Give me something with some kind of light gun. Give me another what was it? House of the Dead. Give me that again. Give me those kind of games for like $20. This is a market that the Switch could absolutely corner, and should, because nobody else is really doing it. Like, everybody puts out a couple of these. Cuphead is kind of like that coming out, where you can tell it's definitely designed to be couch co-op-y. But I mean, okay, that's one. How many others are there that we hear about constantly? I'm sure people are making them, but we don't hear about them.
Well, yeah, no, I completely agree. And now that we're talking about it, let me mention a few that I think are great. You guys might not have heard about. Overcooked is a fantastic couch co-op game, and it's up to 4 people. And basically, you're in a kitchen, and you take orders, and you make food, and you get more orders the faster it gets. You got to chop the onions, got to chop the tomatoes, and you need a person being like the team leader. Jill, get on tomatoes. Rocco, go get on pickles. Logan, make sure you got the hamburger buns ready. And like, you're running back and forth, and if you bump into each other, then you lose the food, and then you got to start on your stuff over again. And so like, it becomes Hell's Kitchen. and it's a ton of fun.
In the most bizarre way, I can see that being fun.
It's totally fun. And oh yeah, absolutely. And that's on the Switch for like $20. I think it's like 14 actually. Another good one is Nidhogg 2. Yeah, which is out, I think, on Steam and PlayStation and a bunch of other stuff. I don't think it's on the Switch, but that's another fun game. Have you seen it?
I haven't seen the sequel. I played the shit out of the first one, though.
Oh, yeah, the sequel. When I first saw it, I thought, I don't like the way this looks. It loses the, like stickman kind of figures for more of, like, a style. And the more I watched the new one, I watched the Giant Bomb Quick Look, it's awesome, and it's gross in the best possible ways. That 90s ooey gooey, like Earthworm Jim gross, or like, I don't know,
nice.
like Ren and Stimpy kind of gross. Like, it's just gross. And the levels are different enough for it to be because with the first one I mainly just stuck on the main one, but with this one the levels look just different enough to be like, okay, let's go do this area, let's do that area, and there's multiple different kind of weapons, and man, that's another fun one.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, Shadow, and that's another one that's just like $12, I think. So more stuff like that. Like we'll always have our Call of Duties and our big blockbuster Star Wars and all those games, the Assassin's Creed, those will come, but it's the little ones that I will eat up and will take up a lot more of my time. So yeah, dude, those are a ton of fun.
Yeah, I mean that's because that's what we're missing. We have the games that cover the multiplayer, the online multiplayer aspect.
Mhm.
They're you just talked about them, like Battlefront 2 is going to be that. Call of Duty is always that. Battlefield is always
Mhm.
that. We have them. We've got them in spades. We need because there are still, and you could do this as a thing for like meetups too. I mean,
Oh.
it's the and I know I'm hearing people in the back of my head screaming that Nintendo has had this forever and it's been Smash.
Yeah.
That's been like the one big one forever, but like we need more. Think about how much fun Smash is, and then think about how much fun stuff like Turtles in Time was, or Scott
Mhm.
Pilgrim. Just those you can have so many of those and do them in different ways. I'd never heard of Overcooked before, but that sounds fucking amazing. Like
Oh yeah.
that's I
Have you ever played Broforce?
yes, I have played
Yes.
Broforce.
That's another amazing one.
Yes, that's it's in the style of like it's kind of a Smash TV
Mhm.
throwback in a sense. And that's the thing. There's so many ways that you can do this. They don't have to be, like arcade beat 'em ups. You can do so many different things with it, and
Right.
I feel like that's such an underappreciated corner
Mhm.
of the market. Like you,
Well, there's one that conquered it, and I don't think enough people realize it because they probably scoff at it, but it's making a killing. The Lego games.
really?
Well, think about it. The Lego games. They're couch co-op. You're sitting down and you're playing with your kids, or you're playing. You can play, I think, up to two people, three. I don't know. And you're beating up bricks. You're building stuff. It's definitely couch co-op.
I didn't know that. I
Yeah,
don't.
yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. It's
Oh
not
yeah.
single player.
Okay, I
Yep.
didn't. Yeah, like I don't. They're not. I don't play them, so I had no
Oh
idea.
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
Nice.
So that's what's fun about it. A lot of parents can play with their kids, and you got the Star Wars ones, you got the Marvel ones, you got the DC one, you got every different kind of Lego game, and those are couch co-ops where you can sit down with someone and they can pick Silver Surfer and you can pick Wolverine, and you go through the level and it's very Lego-y. You build stuff. It's fun. Yeah, and I don't think people just like as right now you didn't realize it was couch co-op, but like more games need to be like that.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. Helldivers was a fun one. You remember that?
I never. That was one I didn't get into, but I remember it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Rocket League. That's a couch co-op,
You
isn't
could do
it?
Rocket League. That's totally. Oh
Yeah.
man, have you been watching the up down down Rocket League tournament?
No, I haven't. How's it
It
been?
it's hysterical how I'm watching this and I'm like, okay, I'm fairly crap at Rocket League and I could run this fucking table. There's some like Neville is fantastic. Everybody else is kind of off.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got to see it.
It's fun. It's really fun, and to see them like kind of be in character and stuff. It's funny. I love my favorite moment was in one match. Neville is turned around and he's arguing with New Day because they're all
Mhm.
three sitting back there about his hat because Neville's got his hat. He's arguing with them about his hat and he scores.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, it's just like everybody's just like, what the hell? Like, how did you do that? He's not even paying attention. And
That's great. Yeah, I got
it's
to check that out.
yeah, he has the best line because he just looks at him and just goes, "As long as you continue to talk about my hat, I will continue to score." And they shut up, and I don't think he scores again.
Oh, that's funny.
It's great. It's fun just to watch them and to see them act like gamers. Like Sami Zayn bitches about his controller battery
Hmm.
the entire match. It's so
Oh
fun.
yeah. It's
But
dead on. I saw a lot of the trailers for his stuff during SummerSlam, which was cool.
yeah,
Um, real fast before we go to a break, I want to squeeze this in here. I started playing. You've never heard of this, so I'm not gonna bother asking if you have. Another dumb fun game that I downloaded was called Cat Quest. Have you heard of this?
I'm sorry, I haven't.
Okay, so it's on iOS. I don't think it's on Android yet.
Okay.
It's on Steam. It's like $5. But it's one of those games where it's an app game that you buy, and it's not like a mindless, like, get jewels or any of this kind of stuff. It is an RPG. It's an open world RPG where you're going across the map. It's extremely cute. The reason why I bought it was because the pause menu said pause, PAWS menu.
Of course.
And like, I don't know, it's an RPG. You get gear. You have to equip helmet, chest piece, swords or whatever, and like you go across the land fighting dragons. And it's a cat.
As a cat.
And everything else is anamorphic as well. So like there's foxes in there, and then there's some cats that are bad cats, and they teamed up with the fox. It sounds so ridiculous, but I know people are laughing, but it's actually really fun. It's a cool little RPG for your phone, and there's not that many these days. Everything on the phone, it seems like, is trying to nickel and dime you,
right.
And this is like a cute little adorable RPG, and it'll be on the Switch too, so which is awesome. So yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. So I thought that was fun. Giant Bomb covered it. That's the only reason I noticed it, because I was like, wait, what is this Cat Quest thing? And I was like, oh, that's adorable. That's awesome. That's a cool little. It's got great little mechanics, and there's a lot in it for just a little. Like $5. Yes, absolutely. Eat that up.
Nice. Hey, as long as it's good, I don't care what style or what you do with it. As long as you make a good game, I'm down.
Oh yeah, and it's gorgeous. The game is gorgeous.
Nice.
It's the animation in it just looks. I didn't know it was a mobile game until they mentioned it, because it looked more like a Steam game than a mobile game, which is a little bit higher.
Right.
Yeah, so I don't know. It was great.
Cool.
But yeah, we got to take a quick break. Again, we'll be back. You're listening to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. We'll see you guys all in a minute. Welcome back to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. And let's jump into some movie news here. You go ahead and take the first one.
Yeah, it's been an interesting week. There hasn't been a lot of news, but the news that we have had has been some fairly big news. Stephen Daldry, who did Billy Elliot and I think it was The Hours, is apparently in talks to direct the next Star Wars spin-off film, and it will reportedly be an Obi-Wan Kenobi movie.
Yes, how awesome is that?
Very excited, and get Ewan McGregor back, damn it, because it's gonna be, no matter what time frame you set it in, he can play it. Like just do it, get him back and do. I don't even care what it is, because it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he needs to be in it. I wish it was a television show, honestly. I wish it was a Netflix series.
Yeah,
I would prefer that over a movie, but yeah, screw it. I'll definitely take whatever I can get for more Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I think maybe now we know why, given what we talked about last week with Disney wanting to launch their own streaming service. Maybe now we know why they've been hesitant on a Star Wars Netflix series.
Yep, exactly. You just nailed it, because if they release their app and they're like, oh, by the way, the Star Wars show is going to be on it.
Yeah.
Then you that's it. You've sold me.
Yeah, then you have to buy. Like that's you're done.
And there's no question. Yeah. Oh yeah. But yeah, so that's huge news. That's awesome. Awesome. Casey Affleck kind of threw his brother under the bus.
Well, it wasn't that he threw him under the bus. It's that he basically just he threw the Batman film under the bus by saying that he's, that Ben might just be done with Justice League and then that's it.
Yeah.
So and I don't know, like, because like Justice League comes first, like they're getting like they're not even, they haven't started really much of anything with the Batman film, and and he wasn't talking about like a sequel. They asked him about Ben and the Justice League, and he's like, yeah, I think after that, like, I don't think he's gonna do that anymore. And everyone's like, and then he kind of walked it back a little bit, but I don't know. I don't know. That whole thing was kind of weird with, like, he wanted to write and direct the film, and then he stepped away from directing, and now they're rewriting the script, and I'm just like, I don't know, we know no details about, like, oh, and they said what, and they're doing this because why, but it's been strange. It's like Warner Brothers, at least up until Wonder Woman, had, like, here's our vision for this franchise, this whole DC everything. Even though we've had 3 movies of people telling us they don't like it, we're still going to keep doing it. And then Wonder Woman kind of flipped the script, and now they're like, oh, so we need to reshoot half of Justice League now, and we don't know what we're doing with Batman. And I'm just like, this is just a mess, man. I hope it all sorts out, and I hope the movies are great, but it's just a mess.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I completely agree. We know for a while now his passion is writing and directing. We know he loves act, but he's been putting out some bangers for movies.
Yeah.
So I have to imagine that, when he lost Batman, that he was like, okay, well, all right, well, you got me for my contract, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, I think that's kind of it. We'll see what happens when that runs out. And it kind of sucks. But on the one hand, you can't argue with the results. I mean, writer on Good Will Hunting, we got The Town, we got Argo. I mean, you can't argue with the results. And if so, he knows what he sees and he knows what he wants. And I mean, he's still acted in movies he hasn't written and directed. I mean, so it's not right. You don't look at that and think, oh, well, if he can't have total control, he's not going to do it, because we've seen to the contrary.
I see him going, wow, these comic book movies are going to take up the next 7 years of my life. Do I want to direct movies? Like, I can't imagine if I was in his shoes. Well, it's different because they're comic book movies, and I can't imagine Ben Affleck going, you know what? I'm not able to write or direct these movies. I only can act in them, which is really going to not leave me enough time to actually write and direct other films. I could imagine him going, well, I didn't get what I wanted. I wanted to write and direct Batman. Now, I could imagine he's got half of his foot out, and I wouldn't blame him either.
No, I see. That's a good way to look at it. I hadn't thought of it that way, but yeah, the idea of like he doesn't want to, just because it's one thing to act in a movie, and I'm not I'm not trying to do the whole there's more work involved, blah blah blah, this one deserves more credit. I'm just, the scheduling wise, you're not doing as, your schedule is not as long usually as an actor than it is if you're also a writer-director, because then you're on from pre-production clear through post to release. Like, you are there for the entire process. As an actor, you have a shorter schedule, so you're able to go do more. It's like with Chris Evans and even I was gonna say Chris Hemsworth, but I forgot. Cabin in the Woods was pre-Thor. But it's the idea of, like, when it's just acting, you have time to work a different schedule, so you could do more than one project. But yeah, if you want to do the whole writing, directing thing, it's going to take so much more of your time. You're not really juggling 2 things at once. Like, you just can't like that.
Oh yeah.
So that's a good point. I hadn't thought about it that way. It's a good point.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I could totally see that happening. Let's see here. What else we got in the movie news today? We got Daniel Craig confirmed he's going to return as Bond.
Yeah, it had been leaked, and then he denied it, and then he went on, I think it was Jimmy Fallon, and confirmed it, so I don't know. Cool, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. All right, so, we got some TV news here. We got some Game of Thrones news. Season 8 to begin filming in October.
Yeah, they have to film when it's actually winter now. That's what's been screwing up the the release schedule and everything.
Oh, okay. See, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Oh, so they haven't filmed it at all.
No, they haven't started 8 yet.
Oh, wow. Well, hopefully this time around the security is on lock. I imagine they are scrambling.
The incredible thing about this is that the worst leaks have been HBO's own fault.
Yeah, that's what's crazy, and it's back to back.
Yeah, it's they're well, okay. The first one, not their fault. That was an international distributor. There were some people in there. That was on them. That was their fault.
Right.
This last week, though, it was HBO Spain and HBO, what was it, Norway, I think, that aired it on accident.
That's crazy.
And I'm just like, how, of all things, how is this not? Does this not come with a giant label of like, do not air until? Like my God, and there's kind of a poetry in all this, because the hackers are sitting at their keyboards just banging their heads on the desk.
Right.
Like, why did we go to all this trouble when they could just do this shit themselves?
HBO's just like, hey, we'll get ahead of the game.
Oh my God.
We'll throw them off. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, they have the season finale up for ransom now. They're like, we will release it. And it's whatever.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna avoid it. I have the last few leaks.
Yeah,
and
it's because it hasn't hurt. It hasn't hurt them in ratings or anything. It's not had the kind of detrimental effect. The way you make this a genuine threat is you jump on like right after filming has been completed. You have your little back door or whatever the hell. I know nothing about this, so you just have it set up so that okay, here are the finished episodes.
Yeah.
And you wait until they get the finale in there, and it's like, okay, this is the end. This is the end of the show for next season. This is it. This is the grand finale. We're not going to steal a copy of this file. We're going to steal a copy of this file and delete everything. That's how you hold something for ransom. You don't say, oh, we're going to leak it to the internet so that people... No. You want ransom, you take it, you make sure that if they wanted to... And then you get rid of the finished product. And as much leading up to it as you could, so they would have to put it back together again. And then you say, we have this. That's what you do if you want ransom.
Yeah, exactly.
Otherwise, you're just a moron.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I agree. Dude, it's been crazy. It's been crazy with Game of Thrones.
I still think it's an email thing. I think that's where the problem is, because I don't think the Curb Your Enthusiasm or the Room 104 releases, I don't think that's hurt anything really.
Yeah.
I mean, aside from the PR nightmare and the idea of your security screwed up, like I think it's had internal effects. I don't think for viewers, I don't think it's really screwed them up like in any kind of magic. So I talked about this the other week, but like there's the internal documents and whatnot. That's it. Like with Sony, that's where it's going to be a problem.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, I completely agree, dude. I completely agree. Let's see here. We got Stranger Things already renewed for a third season. Creators Matt and Ross Duffer say plans to end the show with fourth season.
Yeah, I like that they've got a destination in mind.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine by then the kids are going to they're going to almost look like adults, so they'll probably keep that in mind.
Yeah, I think that one of them mentioned, they're like, yeah, these kids are going to be like kind of almost college agey, so at some point, right. Their whole thing is like the first thing they have to do is just get the hell out of the town, because that's the thing of like, weird shit keeps happening in my town to us. What do we do? Move?
Yeah.
I'm at the epicenter of all the paranormal that happens in this town. Well, get out of the fucking town.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, seriously, like just leave.
But I like that they have a plan. They're like, we got picked up for 3. we're aiming for 4. We've got a plan for 4. I'm like, okay, that's cool. I like that. Just, not everything has to be an open-ended, like, and what do we do next season? And what do we do next season? And what do we do next season? Like, have a story in mind. And Netflix is the perfect place you can do that. You can go in. It's harder on networks to say, like, no, this is, if it's not one season, you could do like, oh no, we've got an idea for like a mini series kind of thing. It could be like 4 or 5 episodes, and then it's done. That's the story. Okay, that's fine. But if you're like, no, we've got like 4 seasons of a show, the networks are going to come back to you and say, okay, and then what?
Right.
But something like Netflix is going to say, oh, okay, cool. You've got 4 seasons. You've got this all planned and thought out. Okay, do it.
Oh yeah. I mean the podcast, the Nerdist podcast, where he sat down with Damon Lindelof. Damon Lindelof goes in on like how, they didn't want to continue to do Lost, and you got to put your mindset back in 2004, or I guess it was more around 2005, 2006 when it was the 2nd and 3rd season. They were like, we're going to keep doing this, and they're like, no, like we can't keep doing this. Yeah. We have to end this. We need an end goal. And the network was like, no, like you're the biggest show on television. There's nothing that comes close to you. And, they're like, wow. Like it's going to be them running around in the jungle chasing warthogs. Like we need an end game so that we can start ramping up to it. And they fought for it. And the studio was like, no, we want 24 episode seasons. They're like, no, we need to cut down on them. England has 10 episode seasons, and they're very nice and compact. And they're like, and so they fought and whatever, and they did eventually get it down to like, I think it was like 16 or 18 or something like that a season. And yeah, just exactly what you're talking about. It's like that's when everything started to shift, where they're like, no, we can't keep doing this. And now we have shows like Walking Dead that has like a sweet spot because they break it up. Like it's basically 2 seasons a year because they break it up,
Yeah, pretty much.
And Game of Thrones with the 10 episodes, and all the Netflix with the 10 or 13 episodes. Some of them are like some seasons are like 8, like The Defenders.
Yeah.
So absolutely.
Yeah, I just we still have the network model in some aspects, but those, it's weird because on the one hand, it's and this ties into the deal that the WGA had to negotiate that they almost went on strike over a few months ago. There were so many contractual shenanigans with shorter seasons because the writers were actually being held for like the duration of an old network season for like an 8 episode show, and it was really weird. Scriptnotes did a great thing on it a couple episodes ago, but I didn't realize that like, oh yeah, these guys that are doing like the 8-10 episode shows, they can't, there's so many things built into their contract of like they can't go find other work, so they're sitting out for all of these other weeks. Whereas with network shows, they it's still year round and whatnot, but at least they're working and they're still getting paid to work. So it's we enjoy the shorter seasons because it tells a better story and it's more concise writing and it's a better way to tell these stories.
Right.
But I didn't realize all the kind of behind the scenes and contractual whatever that was going on that they finally worked on getting addressed.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think that was a roundabout way of saying I don't know if the network version of that is going away anytime soon, and whether or not that's a good or bad thing. I don't know. I guess it depends on which side of the fence you're on. Maybe. I'm not sure.
I'm down from shorter seasons. You can maybe put more content out there, like different shows, but more better storytelling.
Yeah, I think as more channels start going to being apps instead of channels, we're gonna see that model disappear.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think so too. All right, cool. Well, hey, we got to take a quick break. When we get back, we'll get more into more TV news. Again, you're listening to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. We'll see you guys all in a minute. Welcome back to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM, and we're in the middle of TV news. Apple announced plan to spend $1 billion on developing original TV content.
It's kind of about time, I think.
Yeah, I'm surprised it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, because I think like for a while they were flirting with the idea of like an actual TV, Apple TV, not just the box. And I don't know, like I heard rumblings about that a while back, but I just wonder if like maybe it was meant to coincide with that. But it is time. Like I'm with you. I'm kind of surprised it didn't happen before now. But with everybody else getting into it and everything. And the thing that surprised me is that that's not a tremendous amount of money compared to, like, I think HBO spends... Well, somebody spends, like, double that. It's like HBO or Netflix spends, like, $2 billion, and then the other one spends, I think, like, 5 or 6. Like, it's crazy how much this stuff costs.
Oh, yeah. It's absolutely insane. And I think if all companies could do this, it would be Apple. Yeah. They have enough money to throw around like that. It'd be interesting to see, like, Apple production company logo.
Right. I mean, because, we've got Apple Music, and that, that is, like, a distribution platform and everything. But, like, now we're going to have, like, an Apple TV network, I guess?
Right.
Because I can't really see them like partnering with Netflix or something. Like I think this is going to be their own. Like it would kind of have to be their own platform, I'd think, wouldn't it?
Right.
But I don't know. Like I'm interested. I'm genuinely curious about like what kind of content we're going to get.
Yeah, exactly. Curious too. Man, $1 billion! Holy crap!
That's and yeah, to think about like they're gonna spend $1 billion on TV, and that's not all that much. Like both of those are just totally mind blowing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. What other company do you think could do something like that?
Facebook, which I think they're.
Oh yeah.
Aren't they doing something like that now too?
I could see that.
I think they're working on that. I mean, we had Amazon, and so I mean now we have, and I mean Google through YouTube Red.
Right.
So they're, we're gonna start seeing. I mean, this was something that a lot of people were predicting a long time ago, that all of these giant tech companies were gonna start putting this money into it and providing new avenues for content. But it's gonna be interesting because it's not like there's. I'm glad they're getting into it because there's just not enough TV in the world to be watching right now. There's just not enough programming going on.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, absolutely, dude. Man, oh man, the thing, like, did the Flash and all that? None of that's come back yet, right?
No, nothing yet. Not for. I don't think stuff starts until like end of next month, beginning October.
Yeah,
somewhere around those times, like after back to school gets rolling.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, because it was like it's not that much on TV right now.
But we
right?
Not really. We got Defenders on Netflix, and I'm sure we've got stuff on Amazon and Hulu that I'm forgetting because I don't watch a lot of anything else. There's something I didn't realize. All of the, like, for everybody who's like, oh, Doctor Who's not on Netflix anymore. It's on Amazon Instant.
Yeah.
And I noticed that the other day. I was like, oh shit, I didn't know this.
Yeah. Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I want to catch up with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. That's one show that I just haven't.
Yeah.
Every time I see like a random episode, I'm like, whoa, what's going on? Like,
right.
That guy's bad now, and I thought that person was dead, and like it's intrigued me. That's one show I want to catch up on.
Yeah. No, I started. My girl and I were looking for something to watch last night, and then we were like, no, we don't want to watch. We don't want to watch this. We don't want to watch that. And I was like, we should watch Daredevil. You've never seen Daredevil. We should watch it. She's like, yeah, okay. And so we watched the first episode, and it was like, I'm pretty sure she's gonna like this. I went to bed after we got through 6. I think she stayed up for one more.
Oh wow!
just straight through, because she got like 20 minutes into the first one, and the laptop went closed, and like leaning forward and everything. And I was like, yeah, she's hooked.
Oh yeah, yeah. Daredevil's. Have you watched any of the Defenders?
Bits and pieces of the premiere.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've seen like 5 or 6 episodes. I think I have 2 left. It's okay. I thought it'd be better, but maybe the last 2 episodes ramp it up. I don't know. I just, it's not like Daredevil for some reason is just like boom, boom, boom every episode. It gets crazier and crazier and crazier and ramps up, and I don't know. Defenders, I don't know. It's just, there's something about it that's not as thrilling, I guess.
Really?
Yeah, it's not Iron Fist or anything bad like that. I like it a lot better than I did Luke Cage, but I like the idea of them all being in the same like show together.
Yeah.
But I don't know. When the Avengers got together, it was crazy epic. They ramped it up times 10. Defenders, it just doesn't have that same level. I don't know. If Spider-Man popped in or Moon Knight or something like that, it needs something like that.
Yeah.
It needs like a character that I've never seen before pop in. I think that maybe is what I'm missing out on, because I don't know. I don't know what it is, but
I don't know. I like the idea of like, this is kind of the, not the anti-Avengers, but like the counter Avengers, of like everything with the Avengers has to be epic and over the top and, you know, leveling a forest and shit like that. And this, you know, it would be more like understated, or, you know, what do these guys like? I'm not far enough yet. Do they like all meet up at a Starbucks or something like that? Would be that
right.
That to me is like more what I would expect. I would see that and say, oh yeah, that makes total sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and you're right. I mean, I like it so far. I'm not saying it's bad. I don't know. I haven't seen the last 2 episodes, so I don't know like if something crazy happens. But I don't know. I don't like how they dealt with also Luke Cage and Iron Fist.
Really?
Like, they should be the best of bros, and it's like they're going out of their way to make them like venomously be mad at each other all the time. And, you know, I understand. They're trying to get it like these 2 guys didn't like each other at first and then they became best buds, but I'm waiting for the best buds part, and it's not happening.
Well, and you know, I mean, you gotta put the comics aside a little bit. Like, this is telling its own story. And I know that they respect the material enough to get there, but these stories have to work themselves out. You can't just throw them together and immediately they're like, oh yeah, we're simpatico now. Like, there's, you know, I'm okay if that's the dynamic. Like, I understand that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're right. You're absolutely right. Let's see here. Katie Stackhoff joins season 4 as Blacksmith.
Yeah, of the Flash.
Of the Flash.
That's you know, there's...
Let me look up who Blacksmith is, because I don't know.
Blacksmith was a character that bonds organic and inorganic material together.
Yeah.
Not a very well-known rogue, I don't think. I may be wrong, but, you know, an interesting choice.
Yeah.
It's a good and good casting for her, because that's, you know, this is a character now I'm behind on the Flash like a season and a half, but I would imagine that like this is a character that they want to be like ultra badass.
Yeah. Oh yeah. She's awesome, man. I would love some new Battlestar Galactica.
Right.
Yeah. Oh man, I'd kill for the new Battlestar Galactica.
But yeah, no, good choice. I always like seeing her and stuff because she's really good. She was really good in Longmire. That was.
I never saw that.
It was on A&E, I think, and then it got canceled, and then Netflix picked it up for a couple seasons, and then it just kind of went away, I think. But
okay.
It was like she was really good. Like it was a dramatic. Like she was, I think, related to the sheriff or something, and she was also a cop, and it was in like this tiny little, like almost frontier kind of town, but it was modern day and stuff. Like it was just like one of these towns out in the middle of nowhere, Oregon or Wyoming or something. But it was interesting. I didn't watch all of it. Like I saw like the first season maybe, but it's her and I think Lou Diamond Phillips and a couple other people I don't remember. But really good. Definitely.
Oh, okay.
Good.
Yeah, no, I've never seen it. I looked up Katie Sackhoff as blacksmith character. I've never seen that before. Never seen her.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. That's weird. That's cool. God, man. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
I'll put that.
Yeah, I mean, this is a show that had King Shark appear in an episode. Like they're
was so cool.
They're not afraid of going to the well and being like, let's see, nobody knows this character. Sure, we'll do that, and we'll do it well. Like
right.
Just yeah still, because I'm going back through and I'm one day going to finish this damn editing project.
Oh yeah.
But
he's in multiple episodes.
Oh, is he?
You just haven't caught up yet.
Probably not, because I remembered from season 2, like the little quick appearance that he made.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He comes back. Wait, how far back are you?
Because I'm doing this edit through season 2.
Oh, okay.
So
gotcha.
I'm caught up through half of season 3. Maybe. Mm-hmm. Have I watched season 3? Yeah, part of season 3. I know I've seen part of season 3 at least.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's good. It's good stuff. Let's see here. So is this Julian McMahon?
Yeah.
Did McMahon have a son that I don't know about?
Yeah, he's gonna pop up. It's gonna be him and Shane at WrestleMania for Control of SmackDown.
Yeah, exactly. his illegitimate son.
That's not Hornswoggle.
Exactly. I remember one time someone said that, and I laughed. Or no, I forgot how it went down. We were talking about that as a joke, and they're like, "Oh no, that was a real thing that happened."
That happened. Yeah.
It might have been you that said that.
It might have been, because I was like, "Oh yeah, that happened."
Yeah, I was like, "No way." They're like, "Oh yeah, he had an illegitimate son."
Yeah.
And he's a dwarf, and I was like, "What?" It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. No, it didn't, but that was 2000s booking. What can I tell you?
And like he text messaged the show every night or something.
It was okay. That was all right. We have to bring up this angle. God, of all Raw angles, there was a time where the Raw general manager was a laptop, and I'm not even kidding. It was on a podium. And you would hear like the little notification thing because the anonymous Raw general manager would send an email. And Michael Cole, who at the time was a giant douchebag, would get up and read the email. And it was obnoxious as shit. And they never really unmasked the anonymous general manager, except one day they did, and it was Hornswoggle. And then at some point, like a year or something later, they brought the laptop back for a night, and like I forget, like Cena broke it or something. I don't remember what happened, but it was just like it could have been a mildly interesting thing, but it went on and freaking on forever, and then they really did just kind of throw Hornswoggle at it, like, oh, let it be the dwarf, that'll be funny. It was just like, oh, because they didn't know what to do with it by that point. It was just like, we don't know how to get out of this. Okay, it's Hornswoggle. That was the thought process there. Oh, just
man, that's fun stuff.
Oh my god. The thing with him being McMahon's illegitimate son was because it was supposed to be originally Mr. Kennedy, which would have been awesome. That would have been a great angle. but he got injured, and then there were, I forget if like he failed a wellness test or there was backstage something, and he wound up, I think, not coming back, or came back to a really stunted angle and then left, and then he went to what was then TNA. But that was an angle that was supposed to have some promise, and then it was there were a couple of problems, because that was supposed to start as a result of McMahon's limo blowing up, and like, oh, Vince is dead, who inherits the company? Well, it's not actually Shane or Hunter, it's this hitherto unknown illegitimate son. And that was how that angle was going to start. And then, like, the week after they blew up Vince's limo was everything with Chris Benoit. So they just kind of scrapped that whole thing, basically. They came at it from a different side. So it was fun times in the WWE. God, that was 10 years ago. Jesus.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad I didn't see it during that time frame.
It's like that was when I tuned out. Like when they were doing some of that nonsense, I was like, I'll tune in occasionally, but I was pretty much out of it for most of that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Big fun. Lots of fun there. That was back when Jinder Mahal was part of 3MB and not the fucking WWE champion. Oh Jesus.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that later. Oh, we're gonna talk about that later.
Oh yeah. Have you seen any of Dirk Gently?
I haven't. I've heard mixed things. Have you seen it?
I have seen all of the behind the scenes stuff thanks to Max Landis' Instagram stories, which are amazing, by the way. If you don't follow Max Landis on Instagram, you absolutely have to. He is there's a lady on his staff that just eats ice cream. That's it. She doesn't eat other food.
Okay.
That's all she consumes is ice cream.
Okay.
And that's it. And she's like in great shape. She literally always has an ice cream cone in her hand every time he does a Snapchat story. She was in line getting ice cream while eating ice cream because she wanted more ice cream.
Okay.
That's just one little. I don't know. I can't. I don't know if Max Landis's Instagram stories are like scripted or planned out, but they almost feel like it because there's so many different side stories going on at the same time.
Right.
Like there's the ice cream lady, there's the dog that lives down the way. There's all these different things that he constantly goes back and references and runs into, and it's always adorable too. His Instagram stories are hilarious.
Interesting. What's his handle?
Up to my knees. Hold on a second. Let me see here.
1980 something?
Yeah, I think it's like Up to My Knees, 1986. Here, I'm pulling up right now. He used to do it on Snapchat, but most people went over to Instagram.
Fair enough.
Up to My Knees, 1985.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so definitely follow him. But we got to take a quick break. When we get back, we'll get more into TV news. Again, you're listening to We Geek Podcast on N.FM. We'll see y'all in a minute. Welcome back to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM, and we got a little bit more TV news left. We talked about the Runaways. So Jillian McMahon, we went in, my bad, we went into Dirk Gently and didn't really talk about how she joins as Jonah. No details were revealed, so she's in the Runaways. Sorry, Jillian. Sorry about that. Yeah. So how excited are you about this Runaway show?
I don't know. Not very, to be honest. But I'll give it a shot. Like, I'm curious, but I'm not really, like, I'm not expecting it to blow me away. As long as it's good, I'm down, because I want the stuff to be good, but I'm not, like, I don't have high expectations.
Yeah, me either. I'm definitely going to check it out alongside with you and see what it's about, and if it's great, awesome. If it's not, that sucks. Let's see here. The Birds, Hitchcock film to be adapted as a series on BBC from producer David Hyman and Connor McPherson. So what do you think about this? Like, they did what was the other Hitchcock show they did?
Bates Motel,
yes. The Psycho one.
Yeah.
I loved that. I didn't finish the last two seasons. What do you think about it?
About Bates Motel or about the birds?
About the Bates Motel first.
I've never watched it.
What? You need to get on that, dude.
Put it on the list, man. That list is getting fucking longer every day. But I've heard good things. Like pretty much everybody that's watched it has been like, oh no, like this is actually really good. Like everybody was kind of surprised because they were like, oh yeah, it's like they made a TV show out of a Psycho prequel, whatever, blah blah blah. And then they watched it and were like, oh shit, like this is good.
Yeah.
So cool, good for them.
Now what about what about the Birds TV show?
I don't know where you go on this. Like, I understand the idea of a Psycho prequel. It's like, oh yeah, sure, there was story before the movie. I don't know what you do with the Birds.
Right.
So I'm curious to see what direction this goes in. David Heyman as a producer has his, he's got his bona fides for life because he's been the producer on the Harry Potter movies since the beginning. And Connor McPherson, interestingly, wrote the stage adaptation of The Birds. It was back in, like, 2009, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's an interesting duo working on it. I just don't know, man. I really don't.
Yeah. We'll see. I didn't think a Psycho show would be any good, but they figured out a way to do it. Like, It was Carlton Cruz who did it too, and he was one of the guys behind Lost. So, yeah. So that's what did it, because it was more than just, it is the story about how this guy got to where he is, and how the mom ends up where she is. But there's so many other things. Like, just to give you a tease of something with Bates Motel is, and this isn't a big spoiler or anything, but there's drugs involved. There's this town that is on edge. There's all these other crazy things. The police. There's a million different things going on at the same time. And they just happen to move in this town. So it's not just about a kid going crazy and, wanting to murder people. There's all this other stuff that they get up and involved with. And it's like it's kind of like how they did Riverdale. It's not just about Archie. Who's he going to choose? It's like all this other stuff involved. So they figured out a way to do it.
Nice. Very cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Let's see here. Let's get in some video game news. We had Gamescom this week?
Yeah, I didn't see there weren't a lot of big announcements that I saw. Like, it was mostly just a lot of like, hey, you've seen this before, now see other stuff. I think they premiered like giant space battles for Battlefront 2. I think that was their big thing for EA.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Like, I haven't really been keeping up with it because I haven't seen anything that was like, oh shit, you need to check this out.
One thing that got a lot of news was the PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds.
Okay.
Let me see if I can pull it up. Did you see, let me see if I can pull it up. Oh, I hate these websites where they're like, hey, give us a few minutes while we load whatever.
What was it related to about the game? Was it like the console release, or what was it?
It was about who's going to Microsoft is publishing it.
Okay.
Right? So a lot of people own a PlayStation, right? That's the main system there's more people playing PlayStation than there are Xbox right now, right?
Right.
So Xbox is going to try to get people to basically, we knew that it was going to be a launch title for the Xbox One X, right?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. We didn't know, everyone assumed it would come probably a 2018 for PlayStation, right?
Sure.
Right. So the messaging around this has been ridiculous. And I can't find it. I wish I could find the article for you. There was a Twitter back and forth. Let's see here. There was the guy who works for IGN, was going back and forth with the publisher of Battlegrounds. I wish I could find it, because that would be a lot. That would be really helpful. But essentially, the messaging was, it's announced as a exclusive for the Xbox One launch, and they're like, but what does that mean? Well, Microsoft is going to be they're going to distribute the game and whatever. So at this time, we're working heavily with them. Is this ever going to come out for the PlayStation? As it stands, this is a launch exclusive from. It was just like there was no clear answer.
Oh, so it was kind of like a denial kind of scenario.
Yes.
Okay.
And you got half the internet who's like, they're being very clear about it, and then you have the other half is like, no, they didn't answer the question.
Right.
They answered it in a very PR manner, saying that right now we're working with Microsoft to make sure that this is the best experience, and everyone assumes it's because Xbox has the because by the way, PlayerUnknown's Battleground is not released yet. It is still produced. They're still being made. It's a, what do you call it? It's a title that just isn't released yet.
It's still beta?
It's yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And Xbox has that system where you can play games that are not yet released yet. PlayStation doesn't. So we all assumed that that's why Xbox was getting it first, but now they're going to be distributing it. And producing it. So it's kind of like the same deal with Tomb Raider. We don't know if this is a Street Fighter V situation where we know Xbox will never get that, but we don't know if it's a Tomb Raider issue where we'll get it. PlayStation will get it a year later.
Yeah. Huh. Interesting.
Yeah. Right. So it's been nasty. Like they haven't got to me it sounds desperate. Like we have to trick our community into buying our system, because there's probably a lot of people going, man, that's a really rad game. It's being streamed by everybody right now. It's the end game right now. It's the popular game that all the streamers are playing. And it's easy to stream because it's so slow paced at times, where you can talk to your community, you can talk to your audience. And then there's other times where you're in, it's a first person shooter where you got to be on your game.
Right.
But right now PewDiePie, for example, streams it every day, for like 4 hours. So like it's the popular game. Everybody wants to play it. People have a PlayStation. They might not have a PC, and they're probably deciding, well, if it's going to come out on PlayStation, I'm not going to buy a PC and I'm not going to buy an Xbox. But Microsoft's going, I bet we can get people in with this game. And to me, that was the biggest thing Microsoft said at their conference was, this is exclusive to this system this year. See, they would always say things like that at the end, like, this is exclusive for Xbox this year.
Oh, they always qualified it.
They always make it so it leaves just a shadow of a doubt, and it's like, come on, just say this is never going to come out on PlayStation, just so, you just so people will know, okay, now I need to decide if I'm going to get an Xbox or a PC to play it.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't say that in any of the tweets.
You can't hedge like that, man. That's just, especially not with something like this. Be clear or go home. And that sort of reeks a little of desperation, because PlayStation is still outselling them, and they're not used to this. Because I mean, the 360 dominated.
Right.
The credit where it's due, like it cleaned up, but. They botched the one launch with all of the used game crap and the price point and everything and just all that nonsense. Right. And they've worked at coming back. Like their backwards compatibility deal is killer. It's great. It's great. I think what the problem is with them, they're seeing this as their big launch title. Yeah. They don't have, like, for example, PlayStation Pro. Was it around the time that I remember Horizons was a big deal because people were like, yeah, I think it was around that same time.
Yeah, it was a few months later maybe, but yeah, it was in that window, and that's a Sony game that's never going to be on the Xbox, and so
they had so many other titles that were getting like free Pro upgrades, kind of thing.
With the Xbox One, I'm like, they say it's the best game lineup, but off the top of my head, I can't name any that I'm going to that makes me want to go buy a system.
I mean, they don't have
Crackdown? But
yes, they don't have that. I mean, they don't have Halo. There's not a Gears that's new. Like there's nothing big launching with this.
Right. And Battlegrounds is great. I think that's going to be the game everyone gets. If you get an Xbox One, more power to you. Awesome. That it's going to be an amazing system. And that game is going to, if I were getting an Xbox One X, that would be the game I would get immediately. Because that game is just so much fun. Early access, by the way, that's what I was thinking. I don't know, racking my brain trying to think of how they title those games when you're getting into it before it's released. But yeah, that's the one I would get. That's crazy. The big title everyone's talking about for the release is an early access game.
It just goes to show you, man, that these, you don't have to be a giant AAA studio to knock one out of the park.
It's a mod. It's a mod of a game. But you know what? The biggest things come from that. Look at League of Legends and Dota.
Yeah.
Those came from Warcraft 3. So, and then that whole genre of games came from that. So, that's crazy. Yeah, playing StarCraft, I'm like, oh my god, I can see the seeds of those games in this.
Yeah.
And how they go down lanes and everything else. Like it's, but yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy. So if you get an Xbox One X, people, go get Battlegrounds. It's fun. I heard someone talking about crossplay. I don't know how that you would get murdered if someone tried that. Playing PC, but hey, if they offer it, okay.
You'll see that with a lot of Xbox titles. You'll see that cross-platform compatibility.
Hey, I hope they do. That way it would be easier to kill people.
Yeah.
They'll be taking like 2 minutes to turn around while I'm just shooting them.
Oh,
yeah.
man.
Oh yeah. Speaking of Crackdown 3, that game is delayed until spring 2018.
Yeah, that's fine. Like here's the thing, it's a huge ambitious project. I'm okay with them coming out and saying that and saying, you know what? This thing is a hell of a lot bigger than we thought. We're gonna need some more time. Okay, that's cool. Honest, upfront, I'll take it. I'm always, I think you and I agree on this. Like I would rather have it delayed and done than rushed and have it feel like that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I mean,
that's coming to the PC.
Is it?
Is it? No, I guess it is if it's coming to Xbox, right?
I think so. I think all their stuff is going to be on both. Yeah.
Oh, cool. I'll check it out then.
I don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure.
They are. I think everything moving forward is now both.
I think they're exclusives at least. I think for sure are on both.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, but and there's still going to be like a 3 gig day one patch anyway, so it's not going to matter.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. You go ahead and take this next one here.
Yeah, man. Final Fantasy Dissidia NT, which is going to be on consoles instead of just handhelds now, got a January 30th, 2018 release date.
Oh, okay.
That's going to be awesome. I looked at this and I saw this and I was like, this is cool. And then I realized, I was like, oh, I don't exactly know what this is. Like, I know, like, I remember Dissidia and everything, but I was like, I don't remember NT.
I don't remember any of that.
I think NT was an arcade game.
Really?
It was like in the arcade game. It was give me a minute because I'm trying to rattle my brain here to remember this, but I know it was a fighting. It was the same thing. It was kind of like Dissidia 3 basically, but it was in the arcade, and that's the one that's coming to PS4 now. That's craziness.
That is nuts.
But yeah, gonna be cool. I liked Dissidia. I didn't play a lot of it or Duodecim, but I'm looking forward to this. I'm actually kind of excited about this because it's Team Ninja who's doing the developing, and I don't think they did. I think the other two were just Square in-house.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the first two I'm pretty sure were just Square Enix. And this one looks like it's probably gonna be more actiony if it's from Team Ninja. So I'm down. I'm totally down for that.
Oh yeah. Did you see this Jurassic World game?
I did. It's like a build a park thing, and cool. Like,
yeah.
Look, you know what else can you really do with that? Like, what's the best way to do that? Is to have the people who made Roller Coaster Tycoon make a Jurassic Park game. I genuinely have no problem with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's gonna be out next year. Did you see they also announced Age of Empires 4?
Yes.
Ah, so excited.
Oh yeah.
So excited. Like like it's not even funny that I'm so excited for this.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. Yeah, I can't wait, dude. The RTSs are making a big comeback, huh?
Yeah, and more power to them. You know, they had a slump for a while. Like even Command and Conquer fell off, but I want to see them come back. I want to see them come back. I love RTSs. I suck at them, but I love them. I love them so much.
You think you got a Mac, right? It's being released on that too, right?
I don't know. I'm not sure. Might be. I don't know. I wish they would release the old Command and Conquers on Mac. That bums me out.
Yeah. Well, you can always do the parallels.
Yeah, that's too much work.
That is a lot of work. Yeah. That's what one of my friends did to play around on Battleground. They just installed Windows and then installed the game, and it worked.
Yeah, too much effort.
Too much effort, absolutely. There's never enough space in Macs either. Never enough space. Okay. So we're gonna take a quick break. When we be back, we'll go into more topics about Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo's Metal. Again, you're listening to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. We'll see you all in a minute. Welcome back to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. And when we left, we got done talking about Jurassic World Evolution. We talked about the Age of Empires. Man, I can't wait. I can't wait for that. You know what I want to download? There was a Star Wars version of Age of Empires.
Was there? Yeah. There was. Wasn't it called like Galactic Empire or something?
Yeah. Empire at War, I think, was one of them.
Yeah. There was. Yeah. It had. Yeah. There were a bunch of Star Wars RTSs.
Yeah. Empire at War was one of them. I'm trying to think of the other games. Galactic Battlegrounds.
That's the one I'm thinking of.
Yes. Yeah, and that's on Steam. It's for Windows and PC. No, Mac. Sorry.
Yeah. There's some Star Wars games for Macs. Like KOTOR is on Mac, and there's some of them like that.
Oh yeah. This looks just like Age of Empires. Oh man. Oh, I'm gonna download that once we're done. That looks great. Oh yeah. Those are cool. Oh man, jeez. Whew. Yeah, my buddy wants to keep playing StarCraft. I'm like, I get destroyed a minute in with you guys. We got we'll get in some extra news here. The Walmart streaming service Vudu app is now available on Apple TV.
Yeah, I think that's it's curious how like now you've got more, because like Amazon Instant Video is coming to Apple TV too.
That's crazy.
Like you're seeing all these other services, and I'm like, I think I don't know if it's just in response to how good the Fire Stick is doing. I'm not sure. I just, to have everything on one platform, I guess, is more important. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know they probably have to pay Apple a fee for that.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, and that's probably why they bounced and never did it. But yeah, I don't know. That's cool. I still gotta get an Apple TV. One of my TVs is a smart TV, but none of the other ones are. So it's always a hassle. I'm like, I gotta take my PlayStation out and plug it in over here, then bring up HBO Go or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. So I don't know. One of these days I'll grab one of those. Do you have an Apple TV?
I do. Yeah.
Okay. How do you like it?
It's all right. I don't use it a lot because I have most of those apps on my PlayStation.
Yeah.
So I'm not, like I'm good with whatever I need. Like some of the movies that I have, like I have linked through through iTunes, so I'll watch them if I need to. But
Oh, that's cool.
for the most part, I've got what I need on anything else. Pretty much, that's what's weird. Like, pretty much everything has everything at this point.
That's true. That's absolutely true. But every once in a while, there'll be like a random movie where like, I want to watch that movie. And then I check like 3 different services. And I'm like, I just want to stream this and not pay $3.
Right.
And eventually I'll break down and get like whatever the HD version of it is.
Yeah.
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 Oh yeah. No, it's funny. The other day, my grandfather was he's like called me. He's like, hey Adam, I want to watch Casablanca. And so I had him check Netflix, the Hulu account, the HBO Go account. And I was like, you have Time Warner. Just go to search for it. He searched for it, and it was $4.99.
There you go.
And I was like, just watch it that way.
Yep, there you go.
Yeah. Cool. Well, let's see here. So the big comic this week was DC Metal. How did you like it?
It was interesting. And I stayed away from the big spoiler, so I didn't know it ahead of time, and then I saw it and I was like, oh, well, now we're not in Kansas anymore. Like, that was...
Oh, no.
But it felt appropriate. It didn't feel like a shock for the sake of being shocked. It felt like, oh yeah, we're dealing in some really weird out there shit, so this kind of fits. Like, I was on board with that.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know who that was at the end. I had to Google it.
You didn't know who that was?
No, did not know who that was.
Damn.
I never read Sandman.
You got to. It's so good.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely need to read Sandman. I did not know who that was. It was like, oh, that looks like it's someone important. And man, damn. Yeah,
I
was expecting someone from Watchmen, but I'm glad they're not doing that. That's going to be later this year.
Yeah, they swung in a totally different direction.
Oh yeah, but that was kind of like a Watchmen moment, though.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah.
Because after reading about the character and stuff, like, it's totally left field. It's nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, this whole thing is like the Hawkman stuff and Hawkgirl. Like they haven't been a part of New 52. This version of them. There's been Earth 2, but there hasn't been any in the main series.
Well, now we know why.
And now we know why. And I was listening to a few other podcasts about because I don't know that much about Hawkman and Hawkgirl.
Okay.
Apparently, no one's been able to do them right, ever.
Well, because there's not a tremendous amount to them, to be fair.
Right.
So you would have to develop, you're kind of building from scratch in a way, and that can be tough. And depending on whatever kind of editorial restrictions you have, it's interesting. Like, I didn't seeing the scraps of Hawkman's journal. Like, I was picturing him so much differently than like every other version of Hawkman I've ever seen. I was like, oh, here's a guy who's not, I think of Hawkman, I think of, just post Flashpoint Hawkman.
Right.
When he just drops the bloodied mace on the table, kind of Hawkman.
Right.
Like, that's what I think of. This was not that at all.
He's like a detective.
Yeah, it was more of like, oh, I used to be a soldier, and then I got caught up in this mystery, and it consumes me like old, like kind of old PI kind of Hawkman. Like from back in the day, kind of like Maltese Falcon kind of Hawkman.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, that's interesting, like, because that's so different.
Oh yeah. And they showed the Metal Men, like the android things. They showed Tornado.
Yeah,
Did you see him?
Yeah,
that's the first time he's been in DC since New 52.
Nice.
Yeah, I thought that was cool. They showed a lot of new stuff. They even showed like Grant Morrison's Multiversity map.
That was so weird seeing that. I was like, oh my god, yeah, that was that thing.
It looks so out of place because they're like, and here's this map, and it's like, oh, that's the exact map that Grant Morrison drew up.
It was crazy.
Yeah, and it was awesome. Like, this feels like a big event. This feels like Crisis without the title Crisis.
Right.
Yeah, this is definitely a crisis. This is definitely an all-spanning DC multiverse, as it seems. event. And have you seen the teaser of The Man Who Laughs?
Yes, I have.
With the robins?
It's the mouth of Sauron.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely.
It's exactly that dude, and that fits. It absolutely fits, and it looks terrifying. It's like they crossed him with original Michonne, with like walking the robins. Like, that was creepy. Yeah. That was just straight up creepy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I can't wait. Apparently that was Scott Snyder's and Greg Capullo's favorites. They're like, yep, that's the one. That's the one that
well, sure.
That's our favorite.
Well, yeah, because if you're going to be, it's like, okay, we need an evil Green Lantern version of Batman. We need an evil Wonder Woman version of Batman. Like, those can be neat and you can have fun and design those. But then you're like, okay, now we need an even more evil Joker version of Batman. Like, we need a Joker Batman who's, like, 10 times more evil. That's where you just go nuts.
Oh, yeah.
That's where the ideas have to be so off the wall, and I'm sure that's where, like, you look at ideas that anywhere else would have been like, wow, you've gone so far past the red line. But you're looking at it, and you're like, you know what, for this story, not far enough.
Yeah, no. Dude, how about that cold opening where they're on Battle Worlds or something like that, and they're and they think to get into the machines. Batman figures it out, of course. He's like, hit your face in the machines, and they turn into like the Megazord or Voltron.
It's like Voltron, pretty much.
Yeah, like how awesome was that?
I was reading this and I was like, did I miss something? Like, am I jumping in like halfway through a season? What the fuck?
I love how they did that. It was just like, hey, you're in the middle of an adventure right now, and we're just gonna throw you in, and it just went from there. It was metal. It was I heard the metal in the background while that was happening. It was like dun 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 dun, yeah.
And then suddenly it's like, okay, we get back. Oh, and there's a giant mountain in the middle of Gotham City.
Right.
What the shit is going on here?
Yeah, you're just thrown in. This isn't like 50 pages of Alfred talking to Batman about an event. Yeah, no, it's like we're going hardcore, and this is why Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo are just they are the top of their game at DC. Cool story. Went to a comic shop and got to speak to Scott Snyder.
Really?
He called the shop. Well, I shouldn't say we got to speak to him, but spoke to everybody. But he called in. He was telling us it was the first one he called after his signing or whatever, and it was really cool. It was really awesome.
Nice.
And Aaron bought everybody pizza. No, not Aaron. I'm sorry. Scott Snyder did. Ordered like 3 pizzas for the shop. Really good ones too, and
nice.
It was great. It was a fun time, and it was awesome. Everybody's excited for it. It's this DC hasn't really done an event. They've done, I think, 2. They've done Convergence, which bombed, and what was the one with the bad guys?
Forever Evil.
Really good. Forever Evil, which was surprisingly amazing.
Yeah, but delays just screwed up so much of it.
Right. I'm sorry. I read Forever Evil as like a one, like, here's the book, and it read great.
Yeah, if you look at it as just that story, it's really good. But if in the broader context of like, oh, we're on, like issue 3 of, what was it, 6 or 7, however many it was.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, and now the follow-up stuff in other books is already coming out. Like, that just, ugh.
Yeah.
I hate that. It happened with Secret Wars, and I hated that too. It's like, ugh.
Oh, yeah.
It's annoying.
One series that I want to get all together is the Silver Surfer series. I think it ends in a few issues.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's like 3 volumes, but they're really good. Like, the art in it is just so great. But yeah, that's one series. Like, I've been reading a lot of weird comics recently that I would never touch, and they've been awesome.
Nice.
Hold on.
I've been reading all these awesome comics that are so weird, even I can't remember them.
Right, one of them I can't think of its name. It's not even an Image book. It's here. I'll try and find that one. I read the first issue of it and it was fantastic. I read one of them was great, was the Vision comic from last year.
Okay.
It's the same guy who's doing Batman right now.
Okay.
Hold on.
That's interesting.
Huh?
So that's interesting.
Yeah, Tom King did it, and it is amazing.
Nice.
Have you been reading any of Tom King's Batman right now?
No.
The battle between the Joker and the Riddler?
No. I've heard good things, but like, I haven't picked up a comic at all in a long time.
Okay, Logan.
Aside from the Spider-Man stuff.
Go seek out the Vision comic from last year.
Okay.
Read the Tom King's Batman start with the Riddler, the war between the Joker and Riddler. I think it's like 5 issues.
Okay.
And then pick up Miracle Man #1.
Okay.
This is all Tom King. All amazing. He's really become one of my favorite writers. The way he writes, like the war between the Joker and the Riddler. There's one issue in there that's just all about Kite Man.
Really?
And it is amazing.
Okay.
It is awesome. It is so good, and it's about how he becomes a villain and how he goes from just loving to fly kites with his son to like Kite Man, hell yeah. Like just how he goes from that to Kite Man is incredible. He writes so well.
Oh my god. That's such a weird pull, but okay.
And there's like what's crazy in the Batman one is there's so many people dying because it's a big war, and it shows like faces or it shows like people that are battling in the war that are like the goons, and it will say their name and it will be like he's never going to make it home to his son and blah blah blah, just picked up a PlayStation for his daughter. And like it's the way he writes it is like any other comic book you would see these goons getting killed and you wouldn't care, and it's like, you know, Jason's not going to make it home to his husband who has, you know, bought him or is their anniversary or something like that. And like it makes you really take a step back and you're like, oh my god, this is great. Like the way he writes is awesome. Miracle Man is just a trip. Like it's really crazy. Nice. And the Vision's awesome too. Like in the first issue of the Vision, like it's basically the Vision, and the Vision creates a wife and a son and a daughter, and they live in suburbia in Washington, and he works for the president.
Okay, yeah, I remember when like this was announced, yeah.
And and this couple comes over at the end of, in the first issue, and they're talking to themselves, and they're like, this is absurd. This guy's a toaster. What are we doing here, bringing food? And they're like, this is what you do. They are neighbors, and they're real people. They're real according to whatever they have. You know, they're synths, but they're synthetic, but they are they're alive. And we got to be neighborly. And the guy's all disgruntled, and the woman is like, we got to be. And then, you know, they have a great time and they're laughing, and the Vision's showing him all these crazy things that he's gotten as gifts from the Silver Surfer and all this other stuff. And like the way Tom King writes is, you know, as the narrator, he'll write little segments, and he's like, and as they walk home, they didn't realize that in a week from now, Joanne will die in a fire watching her husband burn, and her thoughts will be about blah 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 because someone in this house has just killed them. So like it gets you. You're like, wait, what? one of the Visions ends up murdering them.
Well, shit.
And I love how he writes that. I love how, you know, you see these two characters and they're meeting them, and you think the guy's a little bit crazy, but you're like, oh, little do they know they actually do get killed later on. And that's just the very beginning, so it's not really spoiling much.
Right.
It's just to get you in, and you're like, okay, which one of these Visions are going to be villainous or crazy, or what's going to happen? And so it's so good, dude. It is so good.
Nice.
Oh man, sorry, went on too much about the Vision. We are running out of time.
That's all right. It was good. It's a good recommendation. Always appreciate it.
Oh yeah. We'll talk about SummerSlam next week. We didn't get to it this week. And Game of Thrones.
It was awesome, and kind of sucked.
Yeah, and Takeover was great too.
Takeover was amazing. Takeover was a perfect show.
Yeah, I think it was much better than SummerSlam.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And Game of Thrones, we'll be talking probably a lot about that next week because we'll be wrapped up.
Yeah, it'll be our big thing next week. We'll talk a lot about this. Next week's going to be fairly spoiler heavy, probably.
Yes. So make sure you guys watch it. Again, make sure you go to our iTunes, subscribe to us, give us a good review. Make sure you go to our Facebook group. Make sure you go on Twitter, add us, tweet at us. at We Geek Podcast, at The Logan Witt, at Adam Estep, our email, wegeekpodcast@gmail.com, and we will see you guys all next week. Captain?
Captain.